Hi, it's Catherine at the Hiddle Hut here. I just thought I'd show you how I do a grazing board. So here's my board. It's one of those large Lazy Susan ones. Obviously this would be for more than 2 people. Today it's just going to be for me and my hubby for our lunch. So guests can pre-order these grazing boards up to 48 hours before their arrival. And I'm just going to show you how I'm going to put it together. I always start with my cheese. It's nice to have a good selection of different cheeses. Do it in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, depending on how many people you have coming to eat. I've pre-cut some cheese, so I'm starting off with a cheddar. Now, it's nice to lay it out in a nice fashion, in a fan, something like that, and I play around with this a lot as I'm making the board. So that's something nice. I've got a nice soft Abergavenny goat's cheese, so I'm going to pop that on. The more cheese you have, the more scope you have for lots of different flavours. Now, I'm not going to use all of this blue cheese because it's only for the 2 of us. So I'm going to cut that. It's very crumbly, so it looks very, very pretty. I'm just going to scrape some of that off. Don't waste any. So I'm going to chop it. I'm going to take the end off there and break it up. So it's in nice cubey bits like that. I'm going to take that away. Lots of nice big blue bits. That way it can be eaten not just on a cracker, it can be eaten with some fruit, which you will see we'll put together in a moment. The next cheese, this one has cranberries in, and it's delicious. Not everybody likes cheese with fruit in, but this one is particularly nice, especially for this time of year. Now, you can slice it in a number of different ways. I'm just going to cube it, because it looks lovely and pretty on the inside. So the more that you can see the inside, the better. And I'm just going to bring that over here. And my last one is a brie. Now, brie you can cut in a number of different ways. I like to take the nose off, take some slices. It's like this, nice and thick. Don't skimp on it. And bring that away. And I'm going to fan that out as well, and it just evens up that pattern. I can move a bit more. I'm going to take that, I'm going to fan those out, and I'll use the fruits to build up as well. So I've got my 5 different cheeses, and I'm going to start adding my meats now. Now, meats, lots of people like to make flowers, roses, that sort of thing. I like to fan it like this. Just like that, and lay them up. Like this. And you get a pretty pattern there. It will fall apart, but it doesn't matter. You can layer up with different things to sit them together so that they don't move. You can also use cocktail sticks to hold them together if you want to. You're going to make a flower if it's particularly robust. But that one, it just looks pretty because it's in a zigzag like that. So I'm going to move that one over there. Again, these Lazy Susans are good because you can move it around and look at a different angle, so it looks really pretty. And I've got these lovely little salamis. Just nice little individual ones like that. Just spread them around. Break my own rule of 3, so I'm going to make that a 5. Okay, so more salami. It's time to make a flower. So you just halve them like this. Doesn't have to be all the same meat as well. You can open it out like that, and then wrap some different meats around it. And squeeze it all together. Now, our guests often travel from far and wide, so these are ready to be eaten as soon as they arrive. They can either be left on the island, in the Hiddle Hut, or I can put them in the fridge, ready for people to arrive. Next one, I've just got some lovely prosciutto here, and I'm just going to ribbon this. So I'm just going to lay it down, let it fall as it is. and then our guests can just pull that apart as they see fit. Next I'm going to put a dip in. It's nice to have a dip, so you've got lots of different flavours, different textures, things that can go together, things that you can nibble, things that you can dip. So talking of dips, you have to have something to dip in it. So I'm going to put these vegetables here. I'm just going to move my cheeses over a little bit. This happens a lot when you're preparing it and putting things together. Just fan it out like that. So these are just carrots that have come from our garden, and some cucumber and pepper that we grew this summer in the greenhouse. Different flavours and textures. Pickles are great with cheese, and also a little dish here, and some homemade red onion chutney. I brought onions in our kitchen garden too. So a little bit of chutney there, which is always lovely with some cheese. These little dishes are from Tesco. They are as part of the Hinge range. Some more things to dip. These are lovely. They're gluten-free because I have celiac, so I can't eat gluten. So you can get lots of different kinds of dips. So it's nice to be able to share them with everybody. Just make sure that nobody else dips anything in that contains gluten. Otherwise you can't share it if you have celiac or a gluten intolerance. So those ones are Eat Real lentil chips. They're really delicious. And the little salamis, they were cocktail salami mini roasties. So my husband doesn't have celiac, so he will get a selection of different crackers, different from mine. So things like this, and pretzels, and water biscuits, and even some little mini breadsticks. So they can go into a bowl. Then I start on my fruit. So I've pre-cut kiwi fruit, which always looks pretty. All you do there is you get your knife and you just cut diagonally like that in a zigzag pattern, open it up, and then you can place that on your board. Mango is always delicious and goes really well with cheese. So I just dot that around, some little piles of that. We find that this goes first. Lots of people like it with the salty flavour of the meats, as well as these gorgeous grapes. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on grapes. You can buy the grapes that you get from the supermarket that are the random different sizes and perfectly tasty. They're just as good on your board. Just snip this off here. So I tend to dot them around next to all the salty things, which helps to balance the flavour. I'll snip a few more off. And if you've got any gaps, you can take odd little grapes and put them on top. So the imperfectly ones, they're very pretty. You can go on there too. Look like a little mini bunch of grapes. So I put them on, dot them around. We also have some olives that go well with the sweeter tasting cheeses, and figs. Now, figs are beautiful, abundant in the supermarkets at the moment. And the way I do my figs, I do a crisscross, and I squeeze. That will just be placed maybe in the centre there. And that's delicious. And that goes really well with all those salty meats, salty cheeses. And then I'm going to add some dried fruits. So dried apricots are gorgeous with salty meat, like that. My rule of 3 in there. And these are pretty little Cape gooseberry physalis, and they can be dotted around too. Just find a gap. Again, the rule of 3, or you can use 5, it's up to you. I'm going to put a little bit of apple on here. Now, it oxidizes very quickly, so if you're going to put some on, keep them together as much as you can like that. Pop them on. And you can use them as crackers. If you have celiac, I use them as crackers so I can pop cheese on. And that's really delicious. This is going to be a little bit random, but I've got some chocolate covered dates. I'm just going to dot them around. And they are lovely with strong cheeses. And you can stuff them, put cheese inside the dates, and they are delicious. I'm going to pop some nuts on. So these are just roasted and salted mixed nuts, but you could use the unsalted nuts, raisins, like that. And I just scatter some around, and they look pretty. And just add a different dimension to the platter. Now, you can't tell me that that isn't a beautiful assortment of food. So there we have it. This is my grazing platter. It's available in the Hiddle Hut for guests to order up to 48 hours before their arrival. And I would have my gluten-free crackers to go with it, or a selection of crackers there. So there you go. Enjoy. Hope you try it and subscribe to our YouTube. Thanks. Bye.